My father has sent some detailed instructions and downloaded a data schematic that will calibrate my shock bolts into hollow static. If I can get to the last node, one shock from me will immediately resync our dimensional copy with the prime aspect. I was also able to inform him as to who was within the construct, both ally and adversarial. We need to find Shiguma, Aurora told the mannequin as they exited the stadium. Before they departed, she noted that all of the crawlers were converging on a ramp to the right of where they presently stood. Something is going on over there. We may be in luck, but we need to get down there and find whoever the crawlers are getting ready to attack. Lunar was still flying above the three heroics and peering in the direction of the tunnel entrance. I see a being with wings, red skin, and tentacles for hair. There is someone else with her that appears to be some sort of bipedal creature with an unusual tail. That's Shiguma, Brave said, and it sounds like the person we saved is still with her. There are a lot of crawlers. Anyone have any idea of how to get through them? I could blast them all from the sky, Lunar said. There's plenty of room here. It could also serve as a distraction while the rest of you regroup with Shiguma. It might take some time for me to also make said reunion. As such, I request that you convey my personal regards to Shiguma, as my sister spent many an hour talking of her and her potent parents. Right, Never said, flicking her fingers together to create small gusts of wind with small sparkles of light. Let's boogie. The longer we wait, the more likely the dragon lady will use that blade and make all of this talk worthless. Smirking, Lunar Blaze flew away from the remaining quartet. Bright lavender fire burst from her hands to rain down upon the crawlers. Aurora watched as one of the crawlers emerged from the tunnel in obvious pain, just seconds before Lunar set it ablaze with her unusual flames. All of the crawlers were turning their attention to the flying Genshin. She was keeping just out of reach, expertly making the predators think they might have a way to pull her from the air. Now, Maple Jolt said before sprinting for the unguarded tunnel. The others followed into the long, well-lit corridor. Maple did not hesitate, heading straight for the door labeled as a locker room. Just before they reached the door, something roared further down the tunnel. Do not pause, Maple said. That is something none of us will prevail against. Fear pelted Aurora for a moment as she caught a glimpse of a figure both shadow and ancient wood. Yellow claws clacked and snapped as they reached out toward the bolting heroics. Imperative, heed Maple Jolt, Boop echoed in her head. Shaking off her brief loss of cognitive momentum, Aurora agreed and slammed through the door behind Excelsior Brave. As Shiguma and Mark entered the locker room, they saw even more of the crawlers lurking atop benches, cots, and rows upon row of bins set aside for athletes and staff. Outside, they heard the roar once more of the Creek in pursuit. As they sprinted ahead, they witnessed the crawlers fade, while seeming to cringe at the roar of the Ancient now in pursuit of the heroics. I do not like how that thing sounds, Mark said. Like nails and tree bark on a chalkboard mixed with the oldest voice possible. I take it that might be part of its charm? There is not much recorded about it, Shiguma said. Everything is very much legend. Such tales as you know lend to be extravagant, with a fair amount of embellishment added to deter people from looking too deep. Behind them, they heard the door to the locker room slam open. Neither waited to check, as it was obvious what was in pursuit. Taking the first door they came upon, they pushed it open to find a large section lined with 3 athletic-sized pools, one with a tall high dive. Think we have time for a dip? Mark joked, but Shiguma rolled her eyes and continued sprinting as they spied another door beyond. She was beginning to get her bearing with regard to their position in the facility and the map she had seen. You have a look that you might be getting an idea, Mark said, staring intently at Draconian's crinkled features. We may be able to either get some help or lure our special guest right into someone who will see it as the ultimate prize, Shiguma said, as they reached the door on the other end of the pool room. Shiguma! Yelled a familiar voice from behind them. But pushing her head down, the Draconian bolted through the door, her hand waving to Brave to follow. There was no doubt what would be right behind the Wrangler. If the plan had any chance of working, she now had to lead those that were being chased as living bait. And with that, I will see you all in the near future, and thank you for listening.